An act right now, IPO has been oversubscribed. Good salutary effort coming from the government. Even the Bloomberg has now rated Kenya as one of the 5 countries that has been able to hold its fort as far as keeping a strong currency against the dollar as it is, right?
Well, keeping the currency strong against the dollar does not mean much for the economy when the cost of living is still very high. The fact that people cannot afford the basic needs on a day-to-day basis. But the fact that life has become even harder. Because I remember just the other day I traveled to Zambia the other day, and their dollar to kwacha had significantly gone down in the sense that the kwacha was very strong. In a short period of time, the kwacha moved from 29 to 18 against the dollar. But the cost of living was very high. In fact, it's even higher than Kenya's cost of living. And they were complaining a lot, saying that, yes, it looks like our country is doing very well in terms of stability against the dollar, but we are suffering as citizens. And it's the same thing with Kenyans. People are still going through difficult times, tough times, to even try and put food to the table. No longer do we have Kenyans eating 3 meals a day. Many Kenyans are eating 1 meal a day, not because they are joining the movement of fasting and losing weight, but because they cannot afford to put food to the table. School fees has become extremely high. You can talk about, when you're talking about managing the economy of a country, it is one thing to talk about a few good things that look like they're doing very well, or that look like the country, look like they're indicators for the country to be doing well, but then you ignore 100 other things that are actually more important than these 5 things, indicators of a country doing well. So I ask myself, and even I hear him talking about debt management and really heralding us, saying that we are managing our debt very well, and yet the Public Finance Management Forum that set a threshold of 55% of our debt to the GDP ratio set it at 55%, and yet right now we are borrowing at 67%, which is a number way above the 55% threshold that has been set. So I think, in as much as we talk about, I think we like to throw around statements that make Kenyans feel like things are okay, when in reality, when you ask an ordinary mwananchi, can you afford to buy bread in the morning and have breakfast, and then again at night, can you afford to buy a packet of unga and put food to your table? I think real questions such as those need to be asked. The fact that rent is skyrocketing right now, Kenyans cannot afford to live in the basic apartments that 5 years ago, a 1-bedroom apartment that was costing 18,000 right now costs 28 to 30,000 Kenya shillings. And where are Kenyans getting this particular money? The economy, businesses are not doing well. Just the other day, I was listening to the news, and it was being reported that in February, business has done the worst business performance we've had in this country was in February. Businesses are shutting down. Returns are at the lowest they've ever been. So why would we be reporting that returns are at the lowest they've ever been? Why would we be reporting that our debt borrowing is at 67% against a 55% threshold? Why would Kenyans be complaining that they cannot afford to put 3 meals to a table, and yet we are here happily saying the country is doing very, very well, the economy is doing very well, our debt management is at its best, and yet there are facts there, not manufactured facts, but facts that come from proper institutions that tell us how our debt management portfolio is, and real testimonies from citizens who tell us that they're suffering and they're struggling. So we must be honest with ourselves and ask ourselves, are we really where we ought to be? And I think this rhetoric is the reason why in 2027 some people will make big mistakes again, because they will be told the economy is doing wonderfully. And yet, when you ask them at an individual personal level, can you afford to pay school fees? School fees has gone up in campuses. Students can no longer afford school fees. On a daily basis, myself as somebody who is not even a mheshimiwa, on a daily basis, in a week, I get at least 2 requests of people saying, oh, I'm stuck with school fees. Just because you're a public figure somewhere online, people reach out to you thinking you have money. I'm stuck with school fees. I'm stuck with medical bills. Right now, we are hearing of scandals in SHA that are affecting the country, a scandal of over 50 billion Kenya shillings. Yes. How does that affect the economy, When money is being pilfered from public coffers, how does that affect us as an economy? And I think there's a lot more that is yet to come out, especially when it comes to scandals within these various ministries, that is yet to come out, that I do hope comes out sooner than later, because we need to make sound decisions in 2027. We need to vote on the basis of, has this government truly performed, or has it just hired mouthpieces that have good English and can convince you that the economy is doing wonderfully, when you yourself, you know very well that you cannot afford to put food to the table on a daily basis. You cannot afford rent. You cannot afford medical care. You cannot afford school fees. Can we be honest with ourselves?
I think, Dibal, I want us to also be a bit honest on this bit, that our country is an evolving country is a developing country that is struggling with, one, governance issues, that's a fact. Number two,